Kadosh, Masechet Yoma Daf, Kafhe Amud Aleph, 25a1. We were talking about yesterday when Rav Nachman comes and he says, how do I know that they have to put on bigdei chol, weekday clothing, when they were doing the time of the lotteries? Tetram, as we learned in the Mishnah Tamid, Masarun lechazanim, they used to give them to the chazanim, to the shamashim, and they used to take off their clothing and then they wouldn't put them on, only just the pants. Remember that the pants was the first thing that they had to put on. Okay? My love, are we not dealing with the ones that they were zoche in the lottery, so they won the lottery? Says Rav Huna bar Yehuda, name of Rav Sheshat. No, the ones that did not merit the pais. It's also logical. If you're going to tell me that they were the ones that they were zoche to the pais, they would only put on pants. Vatanya, we learned. How do we know that the first thing that you put on is always the pants? The michnesaim of the michnese bad, the pants, should be on your flesh. So the first thing that's on your flesh is the pants. And then afterwards you put on everything else. The yidach, another one. He says, Alakasheh, asked a question. Ad sheodan alehem bigdei chol malbishin otam michnese kodesh. They still have bigdei chol. They already put on the michnesaim of kodesh. And then they were mafshitin otam bigdei chol. So then when they took off the bigdei chol, they already had the pants of the kodesh on. So that's how they were able to do it. So they already had the pants of kodesh, right? And then they took off the bigdei chol. So Amar of Sheshat says of Sheshat, how do I know that they had bigdei kodesh during the time of the lotteries? The time was learned in a braita, lishkat gazit kemin basilki gedola. Lishkat gazit was like a tall house. Hayta pais v'mizracha, and the pais was in the east. V'zaken yoshev ma'arava, and the elder one was in the west. V'akwanim ukafim v'omnim kimim kulya. So they were around in a circle like a tachshit gold, like a bracelet. V'memuneh ba v'notel mitznefet merosho shel echad mehen v'yodoin shemenu pais vatchil. So he used to take off the hat of one of them, and that's how they knew where did the pais start from. Meaning they used to take off the hat, everyone else had hats. So since everybody else had hats and he didn't have a hat, so they knew that he started from him. Now, if you're going to tell me there's no mitznefet is the hat. So there's no bigdei chol. I'll show you the picture. Here it is. Everyone sees? This is the zaken in the west. This is the east. It's a very tall room. This is lishkat gazit. Yeah, a tall room, a big room, a nice room. Look how nice it is. Yeah. And here are all the kohanim. This is where Lishkat Gazit was, in the Bet HaMikdash. This is the Mizbeach. I don't know if you could see my cursor. Now you see the cursor a little bit better. Okay? Lishkat Gazit, and this is the Mizbeach. These are the tabaot on the floors, the shulchanot, yeah, and this is the pillars, and this is the lishkat gazit. Okay. So now it says, yes, there is a mitznefet in the regular clothing. Do you know that, for example, when a woman, the mother of a kohen, she makes for her son a ketonet of kodesh, he's allowed to use it in the Bet HaMikdash. Because once he gives it over to the tzibur, he's allowed to use it in the Bet HaMikdash. Amar Abaye says, Shmamina, we learn from here, Lishkat HaGazit is chetzia b'kodesh, chetzia b'chol. Half of it is in the kodesh, and half of it is in the chol. Half of it is in the part which is holy, and half of it is in the part which is not holy in the Bet HaMikdash. Shmamina, we learn from here, Shnei Ptachim Hayuleh, that it had two entrances. One which was into the kodesh, and one which was open to the chol, which means that since the Lishkat Gazit, one more time, yeah, this is the pictures. So since the Lishkat Gazit is here, half of it is within the walls of the Bet HaMikdash. So since half of it is in the walls of the Bet HaMikdash, this is the entrance from the Kodesh, from the holy part. This part is the entrance, the holy part. But there's another entrance behind. So behind this wall, there's another entrance. Yeah, this is the Chetzi Bechol. So this is where the entrance is on the outside of the Bet HaMikdash. You see, this is the inside of the Bet HaMikdash. This is the entrance to the Lishkat HaGazit on the outside of the Bet HaMikdash. Okay? Fine. So now says the Gemara, but if you're going to tell me that the entire thing was holy, why is he sitting in the west? Va'amar more says, you're not allowed to sit at all in the entire Azara, only the kings of David HaMelech. Meaning the only one that could sit in the entire Azara area was the king of whether it's David HaMelech, Shlomo HaMelech, Rehovam, his children, meaning kings of Malchet David. Other than that, no one, not even the court, nobody could sit in the Azara. Now, if you're going to tell me the entire thing is in the Chol, why is it that you're doing the lottery in the Mizrach? But you need, it says over here, you're going to need the Vet Elohim nalech v'ragesh. So you have to go fearful. Veleka, and it doesn't happen. But rather it comes to the issue, chetzia b'kodesh v'chetzia b'chol, that if half of it is going to be in the kodesh, half of it is going to be in the chol. Now, if you're going to tell me petach echad yesh la upatuach lakodesh, that it's got one entrance and it's open to the kodesh, zaken yoshev ma'arava, the zaken is going to be sitting in the ma'arava in the west. Patra we learned anything which is written in the chol, which is built in the chol, but it's open to the kodesh, is considered kodesh. Now, if you're going to tell me it's patuach lechol, how do you do pais b'mizracha? So shma lashma mina that they had two entrances. So therefore, since it had two entrances, since it had two entrances, one in the mundane outside of Bet HaMikdash and one inside Bet HaMikdash, it was half-half. Chetzi was kodesh and chetzi was chol. So the chetzi was chol, this zaken could sit down inside of it. And the chetzi, which is kodesh, he could not sit down inside of it. Says the Mishnah, Hapais Hasheni. We're talking about the second of the lotteries. Remember, there were 4 lotteries. The second of the 4 lotteries, Mi shochet, mi zorek, mi medashen, mizbeach hapenimi, mi medashen et menorah. So who's the one that slaughters the korban tamid? Who's the one that throws the blood of the tamid? Who's the one that's going to come and do the dishun mizbeach hapenimi of the inner altar, right? The taking out of the ashes. Who's the one that's going to clean the menorah and put the oil and everything for the menorah? Who's going to bring up the limbs of the tamid to the kevesh, to the ram? Harosh v'regel, right, which is basically the head, the leg, u'shtei hayadayim, and the 2 front legs. Ha'oketz, which is the tail. Haregel, the left leg. V'chazeh, and the chest. V'agera, and the neck. U'shtei hadefanot, and 2 parts of the leg, the ribs. V'akravayim, and the intestines. V'solet, and then we have the solet, which is basically it says here the asirita efa solet, the fine flour for the kevet, which comes with the keves tamim. The chavitin, which is another type of a sacrifice, is the 8th kohen. Yain, this is the wine, which is brought for the wine libation. Shloshas kohanim zachubo. So there's going to be now the 9 that we just mentioned, plus, right, the ones that we just mentioned before. Okay, so it's 9, and then we have the 4, 9 and 4, so 13 in total. Amar ben Azai lifnei Rabbi Akiva mishum Rabbi Yoshua, says ben Azai in front of Rabbi Akiva in the name of Yoshua, derech hilucho haya karev. The way that it was when it was alive, that's the way that the keves tamid was actually brought. Which means first it's the head, then it's going to be the chest and this, and then the last one is going to be the tail. Because the tail is the last part of the animal. Okay? Says the Gemara. Kafei Amud Aleph on the bottom. Gemara. Ibai lehu, so they ask the question, Keshehem mefayesin, la'avoda achat mefayesin, or dilma lechol avoda v'avoda mefayesin. So it says when they're going to come and they're going to do the lotteries and everything, are they doing it for every single avodah, or for every single one of the avodas they have to do another lottery? Meaning, is it that one avodah they come and they start giving it out, right? Just like they do basically one lottery, okay? And then whoever, that's, basically he can't do again for the next ones. Or maybe lechol avodah v'avodah, right? Again, they do it separately. And the zoche is zoche, which means basically, can you double dip? I just won one. Can I come and do it again? Basically, the question is like this. I get chosen. So now, once I get chosen, the next 12 people get the next things, right? So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 12. Or is it, no, I come and I win. Then again, they start a new lottery. But it's not me getting the double dipping. I apologize. It was basically that, is it that once I win, everyone beside me also win, the next 12 people? Or is it that, again, they start again and they have to start doing the lottery? So Tashma, we're going to try to bring a proof. Arba piyasot yusham. There were 4 different piyasot that were done in the Bet HaMikdash. Visa Gadanev, you're going to tell me that they would do it for every single one. So then Tuvav, there was much more than 4 then. So Nachman Yitzchak said, Nachman Yitzchak, no. Hachi kama. No. How many times? There were 4 times that they came in to do the lottery. But once they were in the middle of doing the lottery, they did tons of lotteries. But just you see, the second lottery itself already had 13. It wasn't just one. It was 13 different lotteries in one shot. Okay? So says the Gemara, Kafei Amud Bet, 25b. So Tashema, we're going to try to bring a proof. Rabbi Yehuda says, Lo ave pais lemachta. There was no pais for the one that to choose who's the one that's taking the coals from the Mizbeach HaChitzon and putting it on the inner Mizbeach, on the Mizbeach HaPnimi, to do the Ketoret. Ela Kohen shezacha Ketoret, to the one that did the Ketoret, he's going to tell the person that's on his right, Zachaimi b'machta, you come with me, right? Come with me and you're going to get the machta with me. So therefore, you see from here that in the third one, right, they wouldn't do it separately. It was one, and then you get the guy beside you. So answers the Gemara, no. Shani machta uktoret, it's all one avodah. When it's one avodah, so then you're right. You don't have to do a separate, right, a separate lottery. It's all one avodah. Ikadamri, there are those that say, Dafka machta uketoret, only the machta and the ketoret, because it's one avodah. Aval shar avodot, but other avodot, ba'u pais. They do need a pais. They do need a lottery. Okay? So says the Gemara, machta itzicha leno, the chidush is by machta. Salkadar, I would have thought to say, since it's not shchiach, right? Because basically, they only do it twice in a day. And a ketoret can never come as a nidava. So matra, and it makes a person rich. So natkin la, remember the ketoret is a sigura for parnasah. That's why everyone fights to do the ketoret. Yeah, so natkin la. So we would have thought to say pais bifnei atzma, that you have to do a separate one for itself. Kamashmanan comes teach you that even to do the ketoret, it's just enough once. Who's going to be zochen the ketoret? And the bringing in of the coals and everything is the guy beside him. And all the 13 avodot that we said in the second time, right? It's basically, they don't do it separately, but rather it's going to be in one shot. Okay? Another proof, Tashema, another proof, they don't do it for everything. So then the next ones are going to be beside him. That's how it comes out the maskana, which means that they don't do 13 different lotteries. It's one lottery. But the second that one wins, the 12 beside him, each one is going to have their turn to do the next ones of the avodah. Okay? Kafei Amud Bet, 25b on the 2 dots. Okay? Apais Hasheni. We're talking about the second of the lotteries. Ibai lehu, so we're going to ask the question, Mi mekabel, who's going to receive the blood of the tamid? Hashochem mekabel. It's always one that did shechita. But if you're going to tell me now, right, that he's going to come and maybe, since it's so chaviv, the avodav zrika, he's going to quickly come and take the blood to the mizbeach, he's not going to accept all the blood. Or Dilmar maybe, sorekum kabel, it's the one that's zorek, which is mekabel. Diamarta shochet mekabel, zimnin the shachit, sometimes it could be that it's a zar, which is shochet. Remember, yesterday we learned that even a stranger could do shechita. It doesn't have to be a kohen. So now if you're going to tell me it's a stranger doing shechita, he himself cannot accept the blood. The stranger is not allowed to accept the blood. He's only allowed to do the shechita. The stranger just means a non-kohen. A non-kohen can do the shechita, but he cannot accept the blood. So it can't be him. Or Dilmar, maybe you're going to say, no, it has to be the one that's doing the shechita. But if it's the one that's doing maybe he's not going to accept all the blood if it's going to be the one that's doing the zrika. So then that's the question. Who does the Kabbalat Adam? So Tashema, we're going to try to bring a proof. Ben Katin, yeah, this is the guy's name, the name of one of the Kohanim Gedolim. Okay? Ben Katin. Asa shne masar dad. He made 12 different spouts to the kior. In order that the 12 kohanim that they're doing it, they would be able to do the kiddush yadayim v'raglayim bevatachat. This is very smart to do in birkat kohanim. Do you know a lot of synagogues, they don't just have one sink. It doesn't make sense to have one sink, right? Why? You have kohanim. Now what? All the kohanim, let's say you have 10 kohanim. All the kohanim are going to wait for you or wait for one sink. So for the majority of the synagogues, right, whether it's in everywhere, I remember whether it's in Toronto, whether it's in anywhere where you go, right, you're always going to find that there's going to be a few sinks. It's not just one sink. So that way the kohanim, they could do Tilat Yadayim in one shot, right? They're not going to wait, I don't know what. So the same thing.
Like in front of the at the kotel, it's like that.
Yeah, like the kotel or anywhere. I'm saying all over. I don't remember all the synagogues I've been to. I always remember. Yeah, they have tons of sinks. It's not just one sink. There's a lot of sinks. You understand? So since it's a lot of sinks, right? So they're able to do it once. So the same thing. Ben Katin, he made 12 spouts to the kior, so that way all 12 could come and do kiddush yadayim v'raglayim in one shot. Now he says, if you're going to tell me now that the shochet is the one that's mekabel, so then you need 13 spouts, not 12. But rather you see from here, zorek mekabel, that the one that was sprinkling the blood on the mizbeach, he's the same one that accepts the blood on the mizbeach. Shmamina. That's what we actually bring the proof to. So that's what we learn. So it's not the shochet, the mekabel zorek, say 2 for 1. He accepts the blood and then he throws it on the mizbeach. So Amal Rava Chaber Rava Ravashi. Often we also learned it in a Braita where it says Shachat HaShochet. We learned this in a Mishnah in Tamid. Shachat HaShochet v'kibel HaMkabel uva lo lizrok shma mina. So it's again Shachat HaShochet, right? He used to do the shchita, and then the one that accepted used to come. Okay, very good. Next, the end of the Mishnah. We said Ben Azai comes and he says in front of Rabbi Akiva, no, you have to bring the animal the way that it walks, which means that the tail is going to be the last thing, not one of the first things. So Tanu Rabbanan, we learned in Braita, Keitza dilucho, how does it walk? Harosh v'regel, first it's the head and the leg, then it's going to be the chest, right? Then it's going to be the 2 hands, then it's going to be the 2 difanot, the ribs, then the oketz, and then the regel, then the last leg. Rabbi Yosef says, derech efsheto hakayakev. No, the way that you skin it, that's how you bring it onto the mizbeach. Keitza derech, how do you skin it? First it's the rosh v'regel, then it's the oketz regel, u'shtei difanot, u'shtei yadayim, v'chazeh v'gara. So only at the end does it go the chest. Okay. Third opinion, Bikiva says derech nitucho. The way that you're going to cut it into pieces, that's how you're going to do it, right? How do you cut it into pieces? He says over here, the way that you cut it into pieces is derech rosh v'regel, the head and the foot, the 2 hands, then the chest, then it's going to be the 2 ribs, and then it's going to be the oketz regel. The fourth opinion says derech iluyo yakarev. According to the best, you bring it. So how is it? First it's the head and then the foot, then it's the chest and everything. Then you're going to have the 2 ribs, the oketz regel, u'shtei yadayim, then the 2 hands. Okay? So says the Gemara, after seeing all these 4 different opinions, how do you bring the animal to the mizbeach? Right? That first it's a yerech v'katef. So first it's the thigh and then the shoulder. So answers the Gemara, no, that's when it's going to be bichusha, with an animal which is very, very, like not a lean animal, not a fat animal. So then that's what's going to be like this. So Amar Rava, says Rava, ben Tana Didan, uben Rabbi Yosef, whether it's our Tana of our Mishnah or Rabbi Yosef, batari luya de bisazin, we go after the good of the meat. Morazi bata evara de bisad, we go after the limbs of the meat. Umorazi bata shamna de bisad, the fattiness of the meat, because usually when the meat has fat, it's better. So why is it that we bring the head with the foot, right? So says the Gemara, because the head has a lot of atzamot, it has a lot of bones. So cover regel b'adei, so then you have the leg with the head. But according to everybody, the 4 opinions, the head is always the first. How do we know this? How do we know that it's always going to be the rosh, right? That is always going to come first. Right? And then the next time when it's written peder, it's for the rest. But it's always the rosh at the beginning. Let's just finish until the Mishnah. Kavav Amud Aleph 26:1 says the Gemara, Lamayata, what does it come to teach you? If Tanya, as we learned in the Braita, Ketzad Yoseh, how was the Kohen that was bringing up the head do? Noteret hapeder habet hashchita. He used to put the peder on the bet hashchita umaleu, and then he used to bring it up. Vezeu derech kavod shel malan. That's the kavod because it's not proper to show where they cut the animal's neck and you see the entire head cut off. So they used to put over there the peder, right, which is basically it's like a chelev, which covers the intestines. They used to put it on top, so that way it used to be like a covering. So when they were bringing up the animal, you wouldn't see the head cut off and then you like that. You wouldn't see it like that, but it's not kavod. So then that's why they used to bring it up.